This video is dedicated to James Humphreys. James, thank you. The Ivy Gleeful Spellthief mirror match. One lander, definitely can't keep that. So we instead go into a two lander, which isn't particularly good either. Okay, cannot get into lands to save my life here. Let's mulligan again. Into another one lander. And into a two lander. So what, are we going to have a 2-card hand here? Yeah, 4 cards on the bottom here. Seeing Karametra's favour, so if we can get into another cheap creature, then we might be able to refill our hand with that somewhat. Play Ivy Gleeful Spellthief. See if they've got a Pongify for us. Apparently they don't. So now their Ivy comes into play. If we can get into a land here, that wouldn't be half bad. Alright, a Sol Ring will do just as well, so drop the Sol Ring and we'll go Imprisoned in the Moon onto their commander. Obviously going to say no so that we don't Imprison in the Moon our commander as well. Oh, and accidentally F6 through the turn, so missed a couple of points of damage on my opponent there. Spellwind Elf comes into play. Spells that target it cost 2 generic less. And then Herald of the Pantheon. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less, so obviously an Aura's build that they've made of Ivy. It is a Migratory Greathorn for us, so we can go for... I'm actually going to go for Karametra's favour. It'll only cost 1 mana to enchant this thing. That does give them an additional mana. It'll enter play, we'll draw a card, and we'll still get a copy onto Ivy, so we'll draw 2. And we can still go for Mutate thanks to the Sol Ring. So point Karametra's favour at the Oath, and we'll say yes to the Ivy, so I'll get a copy of that. Enters play, we draw a card, hoping to get into a land at least here. Alright, Bear Umbra's not terrible. And then that takes us into Artisan of Forms as well. So I think we're best just going Migratory Greathorn here, and then we can make a copy of our commander that isn't legendary. Not going to mutate on my opponent's creature. We'll go over, because that upgrades the body, so that is now a 3/4 commander. And we'll make a land one way or another. Get a Rampant Growth from the Greathorn. Should be on 5 commander damage here, but I didn't swing in last turn, so we'll swing in through the creatures that I'm sure they're not going to block with. So now, thanks to the Karametra's favour, they do have an additional mana here. That is 5 in total. I'm actually giving them 2 extra mana, thanks to the 2 enchantments. And of course, they've got Oko, Thief of Crowns. So I'm assuming that they went for... Yep, that's a 3/3 Elk now. Then deciding to swing in at us with both creatures. So thanks to the Bear Umbra, we can actually deal with their Oko next turn. Alright, and Kodama's Reach isn't terrible either. We just have to concentrate on Bear Umbra here though. So we're not going to get any Ivy triggers now because it doesn't have the Ivy abilities anymore. Swing in at Oko with a now 5/5, untap all the lands we control whenever it attacks. So now we're best going for Kodama's Reach, I think. We'll just grab 1 of each basic. Verdant Embrace going on to the Oath. That is only 3 mana for that, and during every upkeep they're going to get a Saproling. As well as turning that into a 4/6. Makes it much more difficult to swing into. Might be worth swinging into it just because our commander is switched off now though. Although we have Totem Armor on our commander now, don't we? So yeah, it'll actually be more difficult to kill off our commander, annoyingly. Swinging in at us with the 4/6. They see the first Saproling during our turn. And we draw into Consecrated Sphinx, exactly what I was hoping for. So I think that's pretty much a no-brainer. We go for the Consecrated Sphinx here. And then we swing it in at our opponent. And not really worried about them killing off our commander here. 1, because of the Totem Armor, and 2, because we wouldn't mind seeing it die. So with that, might as well go Artisan of Forms. And we can have it become a copy of the Consecrated Sphinx, most likely, if someone decides to target it. We might top deck into something that can target this, quite likely in this deck. Managed to draw 2 cards from our opponent, and now we've got Heroic Intervention available to us, so we can protect our Consecrated Sphinx against any targeted removal. Bear Umbra going on to the Oath, and they will gain 1 life from the Herald of the Pantheon. They swing in, untap all their lands. They've only tapped down 2 there. Argument to be made for us double blocking on this and using the Heroic Intervention next turn, but as it stands now we'll just allow it through, I think. Just going to have to pray that we can actually do something about all this from the card draw with Consecrated Sphinx. Certainly making use of the extra 10 life we get in the multiplayer room. playing a 1v1 game. Kodama of the Westry cares about modified creatures, so it has to deal combat damage to a player and they get a rampant growth. Noteworthy that they do have trample on this thing. We just draw into a land. Yeah, we'll go for the Waterlogged Grove there. And yeah, I'll go for sacking it and drawing a card. Okay, that just gets us into a Mana Crypt. I don't think we particularly need that, so I'll try and save us as much life as possible. So they've just got one Reacher, and it's a 3-3. I think we're okay to swing in with the Consecrated Sphinx. Still continuing to draw cards with the Sphinx. And this time gets us into Irenicus's Vile Duplication. I'm hoping they'll be less willing to swing in with this thing now that there's a chance of them giving Ivy back to us. Sea Dasher Octopus going to mutate onto this thing, which will modify it, I think. No, it's just equipment, aura, and counters are modifications, so strangely, mutate isn't going to count as being modified. They decide to put the Sea Dasher Octopus over the top, so it's a 2-2 with reach. I don't know why they put it over the top. They've just downgraded it from a 3-3. Snake Umbra going to protect the Sea Dasher Octopus, and it buffs it back up to a 3-3 as well. Now if they want to draw a card from the Octopus, we'll draw 2. So don't mind taking a hit from that thing. Starting to swing in with the Saprolings as well. Untapping all their lands with 2 cards in hand. We'll throw away the Bear Umbra here and let the 3 damage from the Saprolings come in. There will be, I think it's, what is this, a 5-5? Yeah, so only 1 damage coming in from that thing. Knocks the Bear Umbra off, Sea Dasher Octopus will hit and draw a card. A modified creature did hit us, so this thing triggered from the, what is it called, from the Kodama of the Westry. So they did get a rampant growth there. Okay, Citizen Champion is not bad. Let's drop an island. Play the Citizen Champion, and then we'll throw out the Mana Crypt because I do want to hold up Heroic Intervention, but I also want to get a copy of the Consecrated Sphinx. So getting a copy of the Consecrated Sphinx here, and if we manage to get a targeted thing, an aura or something, we can make this a copy of it as well. So should be refilling our hand here, and we're not doing too bad on mana either. So we've got some half decent blockers. I think we carry on trying to deal damage to our opponents, so 4 damage going in over there. Just hoping we don't lose by 2 points of damage after I forgot to attack in during the last phase. 3-3 with reach, jumping in the way of that. And now buffing it at instant speed, that is an Invigorate, +4/+4. I think I'm okay protecting with the Heroic Intervention here, then we'll make it indestructible. Because we're going to draw 4 cards every time they draw a card, so yeah, their combat trick doesn't work there. So they draw up to 2 cards in their hand during the draw step, and we get ourselves into Rune of Flight for some more cantrip effects and Endless Evil as well. So our opponent needs to start doing something here, a Spark Double. Copy of a creature or planeswalker you control, so can't make a copy of our Consecrated Sphinx or their Ivy, because their Ivy is a land at the moment. Making that a copy of Sea Dasher Octopus, so it gets all the mutate stuff and a plus counter on it as well. Continuing to swing in with Saprolings by the looks of it. No cards in hand, so don't have to worry about any combat tricks here. And that's all they swing in with, so just make some blocks. Managed to win the Mana Crypt flip. A Canopy cover for us. Okay, so Sakashima onto the Citizen Champion might be an idea. So get down another Citizen Champion, and then we'll go for the, let's go Canopy cover. Targeting this thing, that will be a Hexproof Consecrated Sphinx then. So Artisan of Form's triggering because it has a single targeted spell going onto it, and yeah, I don't think there's anything of my opponents I want to copy. We'll just go for the Consecrated Sphinx. Need to note that they do have 2 3/3 reachers in play now. So plus counters going on the Citizen Champions as well as drawing a card, and we get into a couple of lands there. So how's about we just go for Endless Evil, get that going. Endless Evil onto Citizen Champion I think is fine. Probably best making it the Sakashima actually, so put Endless Evil onto Sakashima / the Citizen Champion, and that will trigger the champions again. Gets us into Sylvan Library and another land. Command Tower's fine to drop I think. And then let's go Rune of Flight onto the Citizen Champion here, try and spread threats around. So we draw 3 cards there, one from the Rune of Flight entering, and a couple from the Citizen Champions. And we go up to 8 in hand, which means we can discard Mirror Hall Mimic to hand size and go for the disturb costs on that, which will make it an aura. We've got Sea Dasher Octopus of our own. So yeah, fine, doing well here. I think we continue swinging in with the Consecrated Sphinxes. Don't think it makes too much of a difference if we just draw 2 or 4 cards compared to 6. They're not blocking anyway. So going down to 19, we're going to need some good top decks. Discard Mirror Hall Mimic. Draw 6 cards. We would like to get into a free counterspell here. We do still control our commander, even though it's a 3/3 elk. But don't get into any free counter magic, unfortunately. So they're just trying to go wide on us here, but I'm pretty sure we outrace them. Gonna get our Ivy back, because they're swinging in with that thing. And we'll take one of the mutate creatures away from them. The Snake Umbra will drop off this thing. Argument to be made for us letting them hit us, because they'll draw some cards and then we'll draw even more. But let's just block like that and try and save ourselves a bit of life. So Ivy going back into the command zone. We go down to 14, put Ivy in the command zone. Sea Dasher Octopus, that is 2 modified creatures hitting, or 1 modified creature hit, but both of them trigger, so couple of basics going to come into play. Only got 1 card in hand, don't forget. And they decide to scoop there, that's fair enough. We were going to go for Treachery next turn, so it was Ivy. Maybe we could have afforded a Spark double onto Ivy, and then it would have been Treachery. So that would have been, what, 5, 13 mana in total. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. I think we were just 1 shy. But yeah, we would have gone for Ivy Treachery onto this thing to grab the Bear Umbra from them, as well as the Saproling Developer. And then that would have untapped our lands a couple of times, so we would have actually generated mana there, and could have got the Spark double out regardless, and then done more mutate and aura shenanigans with our commander. Funny that in the mirror match there wasn't actually any Ivy shenanigans going on, so a couple of lucky top decks from us. Consecrated Sphinx really changed the game for us there, as did the Sol Ring, because we wouldn't have been able to play it otherwise. Anyway, hopefully you all enjoyed this revisit to Ivy, even though we didn't really see anything from Ivy. If you want to see more from it, then be sure to let me know. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.